welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's so nice to have you along for the ride. Now, of course, we were chatting about passwords a little earlier, but we had to kind of go a little further with JP Sebastian and talk about some of the movies that feel that there's this certain cryptic nature of them. There's a sort of a cipher movie recommendation session that we need to have over here with JP. Is that how you curated this set of movies? You wanted them
like,
to twist?
so these aren't necessarily like my personal best for movies that are like, pretzel inside a noodle, inside a turducken, etc., of a twist at the end of a twist inside a Shyamalan. Wow, that was a huge description.
Used turducken in a whole
turducken is a mysterious thing.
It really is. How do they get everything in there?
The inscriptions in old pyramids and stuff. Anyway, these are movies that have interesting twists or mechanics to them that I think that are worth your rewatch or whatever. Because some of these you probably have seen before. I know that you're a fan of the first director, big Christopher Nolan man over here in.
Yeah, big, massive, and I mean especially with the the Prestige being your first one.
Prestige was not his first movie.
No, your first one today.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
The first one was obviously Memento. But this is probably my personal favorite. So, I mean, come on. You and I don't need to tell you the dude who did Inception, which obviously is its own little, noodle in itself. But that was pretty much an obvious choice, I think, for Inception to be this puzzle-type movie. So I went with The Prestige. And if you didn't remember The Prestige, dudes, this is such a good one. I think this is probably Nolan at his best. I'm not saying that his other movies are bad by no stretch of the imagination, but hey, it's your first time with Christian Bale, they're magically catching a bullet, and it's all about magic. And it actually is researched, I think, from back in the day where, dudes, these guys were like, the way we have clout chasers now who will go to the nth degree for the most insane act of self-aggrandizing. Magicians were at each other's throats back in the day. So it was Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman who were these two guys with two different styles and approaches to their magic. And they would literally come to fisticuffs. That means fighting. That means boxing in South Africa. That's a very old school word for how to get the secrets of the one guy out of the other guy. And so it's all cloak and dagger and it's all sort of spy-like. And throughout there's this mystery of, is it about true magic? Does true magic exist? Or is it just about hard work? And then there's also this other mysterious element. We just saw his house there. I love him so much. David Bowie as Nikola Tesla.
Yes!
That's such a good turn in this.
And he does so well in this
It's
as
a
well.
mystery as itself, and that a musician is that good an actor, and obviously he's had other acting roles in the past. But The Prestige, man, everything.
Great choice.
Like I said, this whole thing is a turducken with a magic wand and a fancy top hat. And geez, dudes, the reveal, the twist at the end is really harrowing. I'm not going to give it away, of course. Obviously, a lot of you have seen it, but I remind you, just watch it again.
But I think it is worth a rewatch, this specific movie, for sure.
Have you seen it? Are you titillated?
I have seen it, but many years ago.
Then dig back into that.
It's time. Okay.
Next one, help me out, Jeff.
Arrival.
Oh, man. From the director of Dune Part 1 and 2. I don't need to tell you about Denis Villeneuve from Sicario, etc., etc. So, this dude makes a little Fabergé egg, a little babushka doll in a Fabergé egg. Some of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what these descriptions are. They're cryptic in their own right. And Amy Adams is this linguist. And this is interesting. I don't think that in the past you have all these other scientists who get brought into apocalypse movies. You have, the physicist needs to resolve the asteroid problem. The I don't know, whatever, the engineer needs to solve this sort of machine, etc. But it's about the puzzle of linguistics. And every alien movie that we've had in the past is about, oh no, they're invading. How do we resolve the politics of the invasion? This movie's how do we say hi?
That's it.
When you meet something for the first time, it's she uses as a popular trope from the field of linguistics is that the first time English people met Aboriginal people in Australia, they were greeted in whatever way they tried to when they first saw each other, and a rabbit ran by, and the Aboriginal guy said some word that the English guy didn't understand, and they thought that was the word for rabbit, but it could have been the word for what is that? It could have been the word for speed. It could have been. Anyway, so this movie gets into the reeds of the complexities of language in that way. But at the same time, it's so interesting. And then especially now, I think especially that you're looking at those shots of mass media and the news and stuff like that, how language actually can possibly physiologically transform us. It's after major events, I remember, when we lived through 9/11, we had a whole new gamut of words introduced to our daily lives, insurgent and all that kind of stuff. And language actually starts to change her mind. Anyway, I'm going to move on.
Okay. I don't actually think I've seen that.
Arrival is...
Dude, it's so beautiful, man.
It's hauntingly beautiful in so many different ways, and it's like that slow burn,
And
which I love.
that mechanic is so fascinating. What language does as a tool.
Yeah.
Watch it for yourself.
Sure.
You owe it to yourself. It's so good.
Chat to us about Ghost in the Shell 2.
Yeah, man, Innocence.
Innocence.
What's insane about this movie, for a start, is I was trying to look for footage to show you guys, and it's like, why is this all butts? Why is this footage all bad?
Yes.
Crummy SD quality. It looks like cans. Luckily, I found stuff that looks like HQ. And it's because this movie preposterously is from 2004. Why I say preposterously is like the animation is sickeningly good. It is so sickeningly good that Ghost in the Shell looks as good as it does this late. What is this? Oh my goodness,
Wow.
20 years later, and this looks as good as it does. Mamoru Oshii, who is the genius, obviously, Ghost in the Shell 1, 1995. And so, yeah, this is interesting, obviously, in the climate of AI. And what is real and what is not real. And the story of Ghost in the Shell is always, well, where does human end and where does robot begin? Once I replace all my body parts, once I don't have legs anymore that are flesh, then machine. Once I have a heart, that's a machine heart. Once I'm having chips in my brain, like, am I still having the human experience? Like, what is there left inside this, you know, like, is there any chocolate left at the core of the foil egg? JP, what are these metaphors? Anyway, so Ghost in the Shell has this harrowing prospect, even from 2004, about AI that we're just learning now. And I can't tell you what it is because it would give away the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But there is something behind artificial intelligence that we're all in real life going to have a hard conversation about as far as cruelty. As far as it is, this movie gets so freaking dark, guys. But again, it's one of these down the rabbit hole.
It looks so
follow
good.
the trend. Dude's 20 years old.
2004, I can't believe that.
It is stupidly good. It's ridiculous, but whatever. I'm being shouted at to go to next movie. I have this mysterious voice in my
Under the
head.
Silver Lake, that's the one. Let's go straight to that.
And this one fell under the radar for a lot of people.
Well, including me, I've never heard of this movie.
What the heck is Under the Silver Lake?
Yeah, what is that?
2018. Andrew Garfield. Man, this dude is one of the best actors we've got. Obviously, he had that unfortunate turn in the Spider-Man's movies. Plurals are mysterious to me. And Under the Silver Lake is... it's got this, as you can see, this weird dream-like quality to it, and this is similar to another name that you guys might remember, and hopefully we get to it. Maybe if I have time, I will. Donnie Darko. So it's this young dude who is like this millennial-type kid who is at his wit's end with where to go next in life because, well, life just keeps serving you curveballs, doesn't it? So he's out of a job, he's out of rent, etc., etc. And he finds this mysterious girl who he thinks is going to sort of solve all these problems because they hit it off one night, and then she mysteriously disappears, and he starts to see all these weird codes around. And this movie was so interesting to me just from the trailers, and it doesn't come down to it as its main thesis, but it was so interesting in that it seemed like it's a story about a young man who believes that the world is there for his visual consumption, that everything is a sign. Look, some conspiracies are important. There are things that are actual, real conspiracies, sure, that we have to have major discussions about. But there are some things where it's just like, dude, are you maybe just reading too much into things? So it's interesting that this movie does this fascinating tightrope between, wait, is this guy actually reaching like the part at the end of the rainbow with like finding the truth after you chase these breadcrumbs down the rabbit hole? Damn, metaphors again. Or is it all in his head? And so Under the Silver Lake is this sort of hidden gem. It's not, knockout necessarily, but definitely do give it a try.
Thanks, JP. I love this. Yes, they're not brand new movies and but I mean, there's a lot. There's two at least that I would love to go see.
I'm going to go rewatch maybe 3 of these,
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
And I think Donnie Darko is it's an honorable mention that we can't get to right now, but I think it's definitely one that I would recommend highly if you want to go and check out this particular universe of movies.